The automotive battery industry has a dirty secret. Right now, sitting under the hood of millions of cars across this country are batteries that manufacturers already know are problems. We are not talking about edge cases or freak accidents. Between 2020 and 2022 alone, the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration opened a formal probe covering over 138,000 vehicles, from General Motors, Mercedes-Benz, Hyundai, Stellantis, and Volkswagen, all linked to battery failures that could cause fires. And that is just the number the regulators documented. Here is the thing. Battery retailers want your attention on price. Auto dealers want your eyes on the sticker. Nobody in that transaction wants to have the conversation about what happens when a failing battery's chemistry breaks down at 2 in the morning in your garage, with your family sleeping 30 feet away. That is exactly why we are here, and that is exactly the conversation we are having today. The market is splitting in two. On one side, you have brands cutting corners on cell chemistry, skimping on battery management system architecture, and rushing product out of factories where quality control is a suggestion rather than a standard. On the other, you have a small group of manufacturers who have built their entire identity around safety-first engineering, independent testing, and transparent accountability. The gap between those two camps is not a minor quality difference. It is the difference between a reliable power source and a thermal runaway event you cannot stop once it starts. Today we are naming 8 brands you need to approach with serious caution, and 3 brands that have genuinely earned the right to sit under your hood. Stick around until the very end, because the safest battery brand on this list has a military origin story that will completely change how you think about where your car's power actually comes from. Let us get into it. The 8 brands that will explode dangerous. Brand 1. LG Energy Solution. Let us start with the biggest name you have probably never thought about. LG Energy Solution does not sell batteries at your local auto parts store. They sell them to automakers. And between 2020 and 2022, their defective cells triggered recalls on vehicles across 5 major manufacturers. The National Highway Traffic Safety Administration opened a formal probe in April of 2022 covering over 138,000 vehicles. General Motors, Mercedes-Benz, Hyundai, Stellantis, Volkswagen, all of them. Here is the thing. LG Energy Solutions NMC chemistry, that is nickel manganese cobalt, is thermodynamically aggressive. Translation: under the right combination of heat, overcharging, or physical stress, these cells do not just fail. They enter thermal runaway, a self-accelerating chemical chain reaction where the battery generates more heat than it can shed, and the situation escalates within seconds. The Chevrolet Bolt recall centered on exactly this failure mode. GM tried software patches first. They did not work. The eventual fix cost General Motors nearly $2 billion. And get this, the defect causing those fires was traced to reproducible internal cell flaws at the manufacturing stage. Flaws that LG Energy Solutions' own quality control missed at scale. Owners were instructed not to charge their vehicles indoors, not to leave them unattended while charging, and not to park in enclosed garages overnight. Translation: do not use your car like a normal car. Bottom line, when a battery supplier forces over 100,000 owners to treat their garages like hazmat zones, that is not a quality blip. That is a systemic failure in manufacturing discipline. But if you think LG Energy Solutions' story is alarming, wait until you hear what Samsung SDI has been quietly dealing with in European fleets. Dangerous. Brand 2. Samsung SDI. If LG Energy Solution is the cautionary tale of 2020, Samsung SDI is the one consumers have been slower to catch. Samsung SDI supplies battery cells to BMW, Volkswagen, and several other European manufacturers. In 2023 and 2024, multiple BMW battery-related fire investigations pointed back to Samsung SDI cell packs. BMW issued technical service bulletins related to battery module failures in their electric and plug-in hybrid lineup during this period. Here is the thing. Samsung SDI's pouch cell architecture, while energy-dense, has a documented sensitivity to physical stress and thermal cycling. The separator, the thin barrier between the positive and negative electrodes inside each cell, can be compromised by repeated charge cycles, vibration, or microscopic manufacturing inconsistencies. When the separator fails, you get an internal short circuit. When you get an internal short circuit inside a large format, automotive battery pack, thermal runaway follows. The real kicker is that Samsung SDI's quality assurance has struggled to keep pace with explosive OEM demand from multiple automaker partners simultaneously. Faster production lines mean thinner margins for quality control at every stage. and the consumer sitting inside a BMW or a Volkswagen EV has zero visibility into which manufacturing batch of cells is in their pack or what thermal history those cells carry. Translation: Samsung SDI makes sophisticated chemistry, but sophistication without manufacturing discipline is just an expensive way to start a fire. Bottom line, the brand name on the outside of your car is not the brand name that matters. It is the cell manufacturer inside the pack. And the next brand on our list proves that the budget end of the battery market has its own very different kind of danger. Dangerous brand 3, EverStart. Now we move from EV battery packs to the world of traditional 12-volt lead-acid batteries, and EverStart is the perfect place to start this half of the conversation. EverStart is Walmart's house battery brand, manufactured largely by Clarios, and sold at a price point that catches the eye of every budget-conscious driver in the parking lot. The problem is that the price comes with a hidden cost that most buyers only discover when it is too late. Consumer data consistently rates EverStart at around 1.5 stars for reliability. Reports of premature failure, sometimes within the first 12 months of use, are widespread across consumer forums and review platforms. Cold cranking AMPI performance degrades faster than comparable brands. After 4 years of real-world use, EverStart batteries drop to approximately 729 cold cranking amps. That number sounds acceptable until you compare it directly to competitors maintaining significantly better output under identical test conditions. And get this, EverStart batteries carry an internal resistance of 4 megaohms, higher than well-engineered alternatives in the same category. Higher internal resistance means more heat generated during every discharge and charging cycle. More heat means accelerated plate degradation. Accelerated plate degradation means the affordable battery you just bought is going to fail at the worst possible moment. A cold morning, a dead mall parking lot, or after a single overnight interior light drain. Bottom line, EverStart is the automotive equivalent of buying the cheapest smoke detector on the shelf. It might work, but you do not want to find out the hard way that it did not. Before we get to the next brand, if this channel has ever saved you money, saved you from a bad dealership decision, or kept a mistake out of your driveway, do me a favor and hit that subscribe button right now. We publish the truth every single week, and the only way more people see it is if you tell the algorithm you want more. Hit subscribe. It takes 2 seconds. Dangerous brand 4, DieHard, DieHard. The name itself was once a guarantee. Through the 1980s and 1990s, DieHard batteries meant cold weather performance, long life, and a warranty that actually got honored. That brand equity was real, and it was earned. The problem is that brand equity does not transfer automatically when manufacturing standards quietly erode behind a familiar logo. DieHard is now sold through Advance Auto Parts and manufactured by Clarios. Consumer review platforms rate DieHard at an average of 1.6 out of 5 stars across 68 documented reviews. The complaints are not random, they form a pattern. Batteries fail before the advertised warranty period ends. Warranty claims get denied, contested, or made deliberately difficult to complete. The most consistent complaint across consumer forums is that DieHard's warranty process has become a bureaucratic obstacle course designed to outlast the customer's patience. The real kicker is that DieHard's top failure modes, sulfation from chronic undercharging and terminal corrosion from manufacturing shortcuts, are neither mysterious nor unpreventable. They are the predictable result of cell chemistry compromises and quality control cuts at the production stage. Translation: DieHard is selling you the ghost of a great brand wrapped around a product that no longer lives up to the name on the label. Bottom line, paying a premium for legacy brand nostalgia and receiving a budget product is a financial mistake. When that battery leaves you stranded on a dark highway after midnight, it becomes a safety one too. Dangerous brand 5, Optima. Optima batteries were, for a long time, the undisputed gold standard of high-performance aftermarket automotive power. The spiral wound AGM cell design delivered genuine advantages in vibration resistance, deep cycle tolerance, and extreme cold weather cranking. Enthusiasts swore by them. Performance. Builders trusted them. Mechanics recommended them without hesitation. Then Clarios acquired the brand, and something measurable changed. The consumer community has been tracking Optima's quality decline for years with specificity. Independent battery resellers, long-term mechanics, and users who have purchased Optima batteries across multiple generations report a consistent pattern. Modern units do not last as long, do not hold charge as well, and do not tolerate deep discharge cycles with the same recovery that previous generations demonstrated. Some users report new batteries failing to maintain charge within the first year of purchase. The real kicker is that Optima still commands a premium price, sometimes double or triple what a comparable AGM battery from a better managed brand costs at the same retailer. You are paying the prestige tier price for a product that no longer delivers prestige tier performance. Warranty terms have been shortened. Full replacement guarantees that once spanned years now come with fine print that protects the manufacturer far more than the consumer. Bottom line, Optima is a dinosaur in automotive terms, a once dominant species coasting entirely on a reputation that its current product can no longer back up. Do not let nostalgia cost you $200. Have you or someone you know dealt with a battery fire, a premature failure, or a warranty claim that went nowhere? Drop the brand name in the comments below. We are compiling real consumer data for a follow-up investigation, and your experience is exactly what this channel is built on. Dangerous Brand 6, Exide Technologies. Exide Technologies is one of the oldest battery manufacturers in the world. They have also filed for bankruptcy, not once, but twice. The most recent proceedings resolved in 2021. Before that, Exide spent years under federal scrutiny for toxic lead contamination stemming from their Vernon, California smelting operations. Contamination that affected surrounding residential neighborhoods for decades and resulted in one of the more significant environmental remediation cases in Southern California history. Here is the thing. A company that cannot manage its own environmental compliance is telling you something fundamental about its broader culture of accountability and quality discipline. Exide batteries circulate through automotive retail under several brand names, and consumers report shorter than expected lifespans, premature cold weather failure, and difficulty distinguishing genuine Exide product from rebadged alternatives in the supply chain. The corporate instability that produced 2 bankruptcies has created manufacturing uncertainty that filters directly into product consistency. And get this, Exide's flooded lead-acid manufacturing processes have lagged behind competitors in adopting improved plate alloy formulations and separator technology that have been industry standard for years elsewhere. Translation: they are making batteries the old way, in facilities that have had regulatory and financial problems severe enough to twice collapse the entire enterprise. Bottom line, when a battery company cannot sustain itself in one of the most demand-guaranteed markets in the consumer economy without going bankrupt twice, that is not bad luck. That is a structural signal about the product itself. Dangerous Brand 7, Champion Batteries. Champion batteries occupy the lowest rung of the automotive battery price ladder. Found in discount auto parts chains, online marketplaces, and budget retail outlets, Champion attracts buyers trying to solve an immediate problem at the absolute lowest possible cost. And to be fair, they do solve that immediate problem. For a while. Here is the thing. Champion batteries consistently score at or near the bottom of independent performance testing for reserve capacity, cycle life, and cold weather reliability. The internal construction relies on thinner plate grids, reduced active material, and lower-grade separator material than any mid-tier competitor. The result is a battery that measures its functional service life in months rather than years. Cold cranking amp output drops steeply after the first full year, leaving drivers with a unit that struggles on any morning below 40 degrees Fahrenheit. But here is where it gets truly alarming. Champion batteries carry documented case integrity problems. Consumer reports and forum posts describe cases that crack, warp, or develop acid seepage in hot climates or under engine bay thermal stress. Leaking battery acid is not a minor inconvenience. It is an active corrosion hazard to electrical systems, a fire risk if acid contacts hot metal engine components, and a chemical burn hazard for anyone reaching under the hood unaware. Translation: Champion batteries are not just a poor investment, they are a slow-moving safety hazard wearing a price tag that looks like a bargain. Bottom line, saving $40 now to pay $400 in electrical system repairs later is not a deal. It is a trap. Dangerous Brand 8. Superstart. Superstart batteries are the house brand of O'Reilly Auto Parts, and they represent something very specific in the battery market. A name engineered to sound authoritative and confidence-inspiring while delivering results that are, at best, average and, at worst, deeply inconsistent depending on which tier of the lineup you actually purchase. Here is the thing. Superstart's performance across its product range is not uniform. The Superstart Platinum AGM earns competitive scores at the top of its category, perfect marks for life, reserve capacity, and cold weather performance, with a 750 cold cranking amp claim. Drop below the Platinum tier into the Standard and Economy Superstart lines, and the picture changes completely. The quality gap between the premium and budget tiers of the Superstart lineup is wider than almost any other major battery brand in the category. And get this, Consumer feedback on Superstart's warranty process mirrors the same complaints documented against DieHard and EverStart. Slow processing, requirements designed to be difficult to satisfy, and wildly inconsistent outcomes depending on which store location handles the claim. The real kicker is that O'Reilly markets Superstart most aggressively to exactly the price-sensitive consumers who are least equipped to absorb the cost of a failed battery and a denied warranty claim. Bottom line, Superstart Platinum is a functional battery. Everything below Platinum is a gamble. And in the battery aisle, a gamble you did not need to take is one gamble too many. Now, enough doom and gloom. Let us talk about the 3 brands that have actually, genuinely earned the right to sit under your hood. The 3 brands that are actually safe. Brand 1, Interstate Batteries. Interstate Batteries is the most widely distributed battery brand in North America, moving product through over 200,000 dealer and retail locations. But distribution scale alone does not earn a top 3 safety and reliability ranking. The performance data does. In independent comparative testing, Interstate Batteries retain approximately 775 cold cranking amps after 4 full years of use, measurably better than most competitors in the same category. Internal resistance measures at 3.76 megaohms, the lowest in class among volume battery brands, indicating efficient cell chemistry that minimizes heat generation during both charge and discharge cycles. Interstate's warranty process is consistently rated as one of the cleanest and most straightforward in the industry, with replacements honored without the bureaucratic resistance that plagues DieHard and EverStart customers. The real kicker is that Interstate achieves genuine quality at genuine scale. You do not need to visit a specialty retailer or pay a performance premium to get a battery that will reliably start your car for 5 or more years. Interstate's manufacturing consistency across its lineup, from standard flooded units to premium AGM builds, is the gold standard of what a volume battery manufacturer should actually look like. Bottom line, Interstate is the industry's North Star for everyday, real-world reliability. No gimmicks, no nostalgia tax, just bulletproof chemistry every time you turn the key. Safe Brand 2, ACDelco. ACDelco is General Motors' OEM battery brand, and it carries with it the engineering standards of one of the largest automotive manufacturers in the world. ACDelco batteries go through the same qualification protocols as the units fitted to new GM vehicles at the factory, tested against temperature extremes, vibration load profiles, charge cycle endurance, and state of health algorithm compatibility that no generic aftermarket brand ever encounters. Here is the thing, ACDelco's professional series AGM batteries are built with calcium silver plate alloys that resist corrosion and extend cycle life far beyond standard lead-acid construction. Their thermal management inside the battery casing is engineered to handle the high-frequency cycling loads of modern start-stop ignition systems, which charge and discharge the battery dozens of times more per mile than conventional drivetrains. For any GM vehicle owner, an ACDelco replacement is not just a recommendation, it is the closest possible match to the factory engineering specification your car was designed around. And get this, ACDelco backs its professional series with warranty terms that are clear, consistent, and honored. Third-party manufacturing audits confirm production standards, meeting or exceeding OEM qualification requirements across the product range. Translation: when you buy ACDelco, you are buying a battery that has been tested harder in more conditions than almost anything else sitting on the parts store shelf. Bottom line, ACDelco is bulletproof engineering with a part number you can look up in 10 seconds. For GM owners especially, there is simply no rational argument for choosing anything else. Safe Brand 3. Odyssey by EnerSys. Odyssey is the name that professionals in motorsport, military operations, commercial fleet management, and emergency response reach for when battery failure is categorically not an option. Manufactured by EnerSys, a company supplying power systems to defense agencies, telecommunications infrastructure, and industrial operations worldwide, Odyssey batteries are built to an engineering standard most consumer brands cannot match on their best day. Here is the thing. Odyssey AGM batteries use pure lead, thin plate technology, plates composed of 99% pure lead, compressed into a design that simultaneously delivers the high cranking power of a dedicated starting battery and the deep cycle endurance of a premium marine unit. Cycle life ratings reach 400 deep discharges to 80% of rated capacity, 3 to 4 times the endurance of a standard AGM competitor. The operating temperature range spans from -40 degrees to 145 degrees Fahrenheit, but here is where it gets truly impressive. Odyssey carries a 4-year full replacement warranty and a total service life rating of 8 to 10 years. They meet military specification vibration and shock standards. They are the chosen battery for NASCAR race teams, armed forces, ground vehicles, and emergency medical fleets. Applications where a dead battery is not an inconvenience but a mission failure. Translation: Odyssey is the closest thing to an indestructible battery that any civilian driver can actually purchase at retail. Bottom line, Odyssey costs more upfront. Divide that cost by a decade of zero failure starts, and the math is not even close. This is the gold standard of automotive energy storage. Full stop. Here is what the battery aisle at your local auto parts store will never tell you. The difference between a great battery and a dangerous one is completely invisible to the naked eye. They sit on the same shelf, carry similar labels, and promise identical cold cranking amp numbers on the box. But inside, the gap is the difference between 5 reliable years of trouble-free starts and a unit that fails before winter is out. Or worse, one that turns your closed garage into a scene you cannot walk back. Here is the thing. The battery market is a battlefield between manufacturers who treat your safety as a cost line to reduce and manufacturers who treat it as the foundation of everything they engineer. LG Energy Solution and Samsung SDI proved that even advanced EV-grade chemistry is worthless without manufacturing discipline and honest quality control. EverStart, DieHard, Optima, Exide, Champion, and Superstart have each demonstrated in different ways and for different reasons that brand recognition and aggressive marketing are not substitutes for genuine engineering investment. Interstate, ACDelco, and Odyssey earned their reputations the hard way, through consistent independent performance results, warranty practices that actually protect the consumer, and manufacturing standards that can be verified by third parties. These are not just better batteries, they are better decisions made in advance, so you never have to make a desperate one at the side of a road. The real kicker is that the cost gap between a reliable battery and a problematic one is, in most cases, less than $50. $50 stands between you and 5 years of confident starts, a warranty process that does not feel like combat, and the peace of mind of knowing your car is not a liability parked in your own driveway. That is not a hard number to justify. Bottom line, do not let the battery aisle be where you decide to cut corners. The 8 brands on the dangerous side of today's list are still on shelves right now, still being purchased by drivers who simply do not have this information. You do. Share this video with someone who deserves to know it too. And if you want the truth about what is really powering your car in 2026, hit subscribe. We will be here every single week.